everything, but at least there are projects like you guys that are on stage that are actually shipping real products, and we are seeing these products come to life finally. So speaking of uniting chains, let's talk about some collaborations and collaborative ecosystems. Before we do, I do want to introduce all of the speakers, and traditionally, let's start with Wall. Mr. Wall, that I could never guess the accent. Let's start with you.
Well, my name is Jason with the unidentifiable accent. I'm the CEO of Wall, and we are breaking quite literally the fourth wall between streamers and viewers with our browser extension, which allows streamers to access a plethora of different monetization routes through direct contact with game studios, soft launches, live games, you name it. And at the same time, the streamers are able to directly engage with their favorite streamers and receive points, rewards, giveaways, NFTs, you name it.
Nice. I love the part. We're also joined by Spawnstar. How are you doing, sir?
What's up, GM? Yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you for having us. Really excited to chat more about Podchain. I actually have a call with one of you guys, with one of your founders later today to talk about the cross-chain collaborations that we could do at a liquidity pool level. So excited about that. So Spawnstar does fractional sponsorship of the world's largest events, and we distribute these slots through a treasure hunt. So think of us as like Ready Player One for real life, focused on physical events, and like airline points for everything in your life. It's the entire city of Austin. We have all the pedicabs branded with unique QR codes. You can take rides, earn rewards, take you to custom paths. We have all of the side events on our interactive map. We have an AI engine that is building a custom path for you based on your actual behavior. So let's say you really like a nice cold beer, we'll take you on a bar hop route. If you're more of a health and wellness person, we'll take you on a sauna cold plunge route, and you're earning rewards for every step of the way. You're earning rewards for interacting with our AI. You're earning rewards for just checking in, allowing you to not only maybe sometimes pay back the entire value of your ticket just by interacting with the sponsored experiences, but getting backstage access, celebrity access, and a bunch of crypto that you can choose what you do with. So we're excited to be here. We're excited for 2025. I was talking to our chain partner yesterday, and they were saying, forget the price January and February if you're a utility token, and the only thing that's getting any attention are meme coins. And Melania yesterday pulled all the liquidity from the market. But March is coming, alt season is almost here, and let's all stick together through this.
Well, everybody hates Melania, everybody, and for some good reasons. Man, Trump could have pulled 100 bill, but he didn't. Now, I don't know what it has to do with some misogynistic vibes, but technically speaking, it definitely sucked out a lot of liquidity from the space. But we'll see. I have a question prepared for that specifically. I'm really curious about your takes, guys. There's a lot to talk about, and there's a bunch of you, so please limit your introductions to like 10 seconds if you can. Let's go through them fast because I want to hear your sophisticated thoughts. Hopscotch, would you care to go on?
GM, happy to be here. Yeah, my name is Morgan. I'm co-founder at Hopscotch. We're building Shopify for crypto, so you can buy, sell, and most importantly, verify products and services around the world. Great to be here. Looking forward to the chat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next up is Metacraft. Metacraft, go ahead. I believe you're still muted, sir. Am I the only one that doesn't hear them? I think we got some sound in, but it disappeared. Oh, man.
I think so. I guess I'm back.
That's good. Yes, you are.
Awesome. Thanks for having us here. I'm Abhishek, and we are building 3D content creation for gamers, creative studios, and designers.
Nice and concise. Okay, who do I see next? Sip and Play. Go ahead, friend, longtime friend of the show.
Hey man, GM, I hope you're doing good. So let me just quickly give my intro. My name is Paras. I am from the co-founder of Sip and Play. We are building on-chain reputation protocol for Web3 gamers. And guess what? Our beta is live. Players are live. They are actively playing our game. So yeah, we are excited for the future.
We are very excited for the future indeed. Let's see what happens. Trump is very bullish overall. Let's see what happens. Andrew, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm doing well. I've been diving deep into the AI world. I just launched my Ladyboy Gaming AI assistant, an agent that's starting to work on the Ronin space. So looking forward to continue my learning there and diving into the collaborative discussion today. Nice.
Ronin Chain doing some stuff. Also, speaking of the Axie ecosystem, I actually learned, well, it's not an Axie ecosystem, but I learned a new thing that's called Pizza Pets. Are you familiar with that?
Pizza Pets? I don't think so. Everyone's been talking about Fishing Frenzy over there, but I haven't heard about Pizza Pets.
Pizza Pets. I don't know if it's on Ronin. I don't think it is, but it's a Tamagotchi kind of thing on one of the ecosystems. I actually don't know where it is.
They're built on Bitcoin.
They're building Bitcoin. Really? Whoa. Is it? Huh. Interesting. Are they ordinals?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they are.
Damn. And if let me see. Oh yeah, Bitcoin's first digital pet. Damn. Okay, that's so cool. Pixelated art. They grow. You gotta feed them. You gotta give them cocaine. Apparently, you can do that and risk them dying, but also risk them going up in price and becoming immortal and stuff like that. So, very cool stuff. Also, speaking of new chains, actually, it's an important. I'll talk about it later. Who do we have left? Reinvent DAO. I don't think you introduced yourself yet.
Yes. Hello. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Hannes. I'm founder and CEO of Reinvent DAO. So, 10-second speech, hearing you guys. So, what we really do, we are actually building an on chain IP licensing launchpad. So, moving in this creators economy, we're allowing creators to be able to tokenize their work, allow them to license, receive it in automated royalties distribution. And we're excited. We're in the early stage. Looking forward to talk about this more. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. I have a thing for accents, guys, by the way. I have a sport. It's like I make it a sport to guess where people are from based on their accent. This is very difficult, Reinvent. I can't tell where you're from.
Yes,
Okay, can I ask a question? Are you an English native?
Yes, I am.
Australia.
Yes, you're right.
Oh!
I'm half Asian, half Australian.
Nice.
I'm based in Hong Kong. But I'm Aussie Malaysian.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. I could tell some Asian accent. That's why I asked. Because
it's Lunar New Year right now. So I mean, if anyone here on this X Space celebrates Lunar New Year, I wanted to say Happy New Year.
Nice, Happy New Year, Happy Lunar New Year. Actually, I didn't know it was this time. Interesting. So there's the Lunar New Year, and then there's the Chinese New Year, right? Is that correct? Like, is it Chinese?
It's the same. It's the same thing.
Oh, so
Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay, nice. The more you know, everybody. Tune in next week where we talk about New Year's. Anyway, let's get back to the conversation. Before we dive in, I have the need to intro our pod chain itself. And Brian, would you do the honors?
Absolutely. I'll keep it quick, guys, because we got a lot of speakers up on panel. I'll make sure we get into some of this discussion. But PawChain, we're a blockchain technology company that just recently launched a first of its kind unification layer blockchain is what I'm calling it. And we're able to connect other networks to ours to allow your liquidity to travel freely cross-chain via one liquidity pool. So what does that mean? That means seamless bridging. That means using Base, Ethereum, Solana, Arbitrum, BSC, and many others to be able to purchase an asset with the click of a button. So the days are gone of 4 to 5 less than 60 seconds. Our transaction times are about 0.004. So we got the speed. We are infinitely scalable. Guys, this is brand new technology. This is 100% custom built, brand new blockchain stack that fixes the inherent problems with blockchain. Communication or interoperability, scalability, and cost. We offer it all. And we have a lot of catalysts coming. As I mentioned, we have DEX tools coming any day that people are going to be able to start tracking their charts. Our charts on chain, projects on chain that we're onboarding, wallet applications coming, more exchange, central exchange listings as we build out. And we're only 7 months old. We've only been launched for 7 months, but we've been building for over 2 years. And it's just something I'm passionate about. And in my opinion, I believe, guys, liquidity is going to start rolling into top alts, and then people are exhausted. The saying, you know, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. I think that's exactly what has happened. There is meme fatigue. People are tired of losing. And when they do get liquidity and new liquidity comes in this space, they're going to want to invest in something that's solving a problem. And I think we're about to turn that corner going into the mid Q1 into Q2 and then into the bull run in Q3, Q4. So the builders out there, keep your head up. I know it's been a tough grind. I know it's been hard to get traction, to get holders, to get people interested. Everybody here is going through it. Keep working. That hard work will be rewarded. Keep solving problems. Let's keep building.
Let's
Amen,
keep
brother.
building, indeed.
Amen.
Indeed, let's go. I was talking about it the space previously on a previous space and saying finally, because from early 2021, all I've been seeing is just promise. Yes, you all that's all you see on pump.fun. However, also finally you get to see the fact that there's the like actual products being shipped, and we're seeing the unified blockchain, which is a great word, by the way, really, really nice wording. So let's see what happens. I hope we will agree one day. I'll live to see one unified ecosystem where you don't need to do all this crazy bridging and insane stuff. Like, it's so annoying. I'm a Web3 native. At least I consider myself being a Web3 native, and damn, is it hard. Jesus Christ. Let's talk about collaborative ecosystems, and I want to talk about conheads. Are you guys familiar about conheads? Also, we're going to do this by a show, and you can speak. So coneheads are this community on Reddit based on their Reddit avatars. I'm not really sure what the actual let's say the actual monetary play there is, but they seem to be one of the biggest and really coolest communities on Reddit. That's a Web3 community because they have the digital collectibles. So what makes them a more respectable community than most Web3 communities? Does it have to do something with the financial incentives part? Is it that just Reddit being having a better accommodating factor? What do you guys think it is? Hopscotch, go ahead.
I think part of it is definitely there isn't a financial incentive, kind of like you were saying. They're just driven by this like shared identity, not by making money, right? And so they know what they stand for, which is a little bit different than sometimes like new Web3, say NFT or meme projects. They have been building themselves over years rather than days, and so that's really kind of how you build a community, or probably how we would answer how do you build a community. years back is like their effort for just kind of creating positive experiences for users. And maybe that's just like making somebody laugh, right? Content or, that subreddit, you can just leave, right? You're not selling your assets for a loss. There's no kind of like bad take on trying it out. Whereas with, meme coin XYZ, 85% of people are going to get burned. Yes, you have that opportunity to make lots of money, but, for most people, it's going to be a negative experience. That's why I think like, not just communities like Coneheads, but there's a lot of, take, for example, other subreddit communities, which have done this really well, where there's just no financial incentive. It's just hanging out, right?
Yeah, definitely a shared identity. That's the meme basis of the meme in a way, right? The memeing. So that opens up a really, really nice, very interesting conversation, because there's the meme and there's the. I won't be bored to say again and again, a meme is a cultural unit that is replicated in other people's minds. It doesn't even need to be funny. The original etymology of the meme is a gene, and it's combined with the word mimicking, because we are mimicking other people's ideas. It's an idea that is replicated in other people's minds. So a shared identity, the platform to do it. I'm really, really curious about the financial, pros and cons of this financial machinations or the plays. Andrew, I believe you were the next one in line. Go ahead.
Yeah, I might have mentioned this last week in the context of gaming, but I think some of the most successful blockchain gaming IPs and ecosystems we've seen have done so because they're rooted in this kind of cultiness, this dynamic, like almost illogical love that their fans have for the IP. And we've certainly seen it in the traditional world with stuff like Pokemon and Legos and these things that even into adulthood, people have this strong emotional connection. And I think in gaming, it's especially apparent because why that's so powerful is this shared sense of purpose, right? You exist on a higher order. It's not really just about the money, it's about having the best people into the fold. It's like education is not a zero sum game the same way that meme coins are. Because I think with meme coins, the goal is really all of us are just trying to get rich, right? This is sort of like a shared buy in of a get rich quick scheme, but it's pretty zero sum. So we can't all win. For every loser, there's a winner. But in something that's a little bit more altruistic, that's a little bit less numerical and more emotional, and this sort of shared connection, this shared pride, something like education is not zero sum and never really gets completely solved. As a community, you're just out there evangelizing, and unless you become the one true community that takes over all other communities, that's like a never ending cycle of work that you can rally around and do meetups around. And I think it really does come back to sense of purpose beyond just financial gain. And that's where these like free mints come in and other things like this, that there's no utility, but there's also this like very strong emotional connection to the underlying concept. And I think that's what really drives it. And I don't know that money is the root of all evil, but it gets really hard to strip out speculation once you start adding financial gain. You see it even in stuff like the Valve marketplace where people are trading and selling skins. There's absolutely a lot of speculation in that game. I don't know that it's possible to make a free market that doesn't have any speculation attached to it, because we're human. You kind of can't take that part out of our psychology completely.
Yeah, great take. I really, really agree on the cultiness part. The IP is an interesting issue because the Coneheads have the VLC and all of that, but the culture that is being propagated within is definitely voluntary. So it's built by the community, if that makes sense. A free mint meta. Do you guys remember when there was a free mint meta? The Goblin Town and I don't even remember what other projects there were, but I remember Goblin Town. That was crazy. Now they're not doing anything as far as I remember, as far as I know, but correct me if I'm wrong. However, the question of how do we, not strip, but how do we maintain a healthier environment when it comes to the community itself, when it's not all pump and dumps, is the question for the ages. And I believe Brian wants to chime in. Go ahead, Brian.
I do. I believe how you keep the community strong and together, and during the ups and downs of the financial gains and losses, chart going up, chart going down, is empowerment. That word right there is you empower these community members to make them feel like they're going to be a part of something, that what they're a part of, especially building when it comes to utility projects, has a chance to change the world and leave a legacy, and that their efforts, their time they put in, people don't realize. Your time is extremely valuable, guys. When you're here in these spaces, when you're rating, when you're on Reddit, when you're on all these socials, building communities, reaching out, you're spending a lot of your time of your life to do this. And if you empower those members to feel like, hey, in the end, if we stick together, if we keep growing, if we treat each other like family, if we're kind, if we're respectful, we will foster that environment to bring more people in to share our message. And then when we are successful, that's when you get to go back and said, I had a hand in that. And that's powerful. That's the reason why Three Space. And I shared it with my friends, with this community members who were like-minded, who worked hard, and who put in the time to do these things. That's what it's about for me. I want to leave a legacy. I know our community members want to leave a mark on this space, that we left it better than we found it. And that fosters the communities in there playing against another one. Some of the most fun I've ever had on a space. So we need more of that. Like, I challenge these projects, everybody in here, to challenge your community members, invite them in, let them work, let them be acknowledged that what they're doing, their artwork they're creating, all these things that they're doing is appreciated.
Yeah, that's very interesting. How can we overpower the conviction place through empowerment? And I like that you said that it's like you give them something to be proud of in the future, and it's very fascinating how different projects actually favor and foster those relationships with those specific community members, because not all community members will be extremely active in building with you, but those that are worthy of protection and empowerment. And some of them, like, not talking about CTOs, I've definitely seen people start working in companies that they have been an active member of in the community itself. Well, I saw your hand go up, and then we'll move to reInvent.
Yeah, I mean, that was an amazing take on it. This space, it allows for, so many different levels of empowerment when it comes to engaging with your community. But, at the core of it all, you have to have a compelling argument. So it's like whatever you're building, be it something based on a meme IP that people identify with, or, a full-on, actual project with, utility, a game, an app, you name it, doesn't matter. But there has to be, that connection between founder and community. And they have to understand, your brand, your person, what you're building, why you're building it, who you're building it for. And off the back of that, have them want to be a part of, that experience, that journey, not just, a bystander, or, just a passive community member. It's about uplifting them. And, in doing so, the amount of times, over the past 8 years, I've seen so many community members. And I started off as a community company, was founded off the back of a community that had been built up. We were basically a sub-community of a major community. It's being there, interacting with the people, understanding the people. Like in this space, no one is just a number to a project. You're not just a statistic. Individuals are individuals, and it's treating individuals like individuals that can, really bring them in closer. And in turn, you convert them, and like it's one of the things that I love, the most about how, wherever Podchain goes, their army goes with them. And, that kind of stuff is legendary in this space, because that's what community building is. It is having people go wherever you go, they're there, and you've got an army behind you. And these people amplify founders in the space, understand how important that connection to the end user, the end community member. It doesn't matter if they don't have any money to invest. It doesn't matter if they have any money to buy, to hold, to whatever. But you have to care for each of them as individuals.
Yeah, 100%. I really, I'm right now actually researching this new narrative and this paradigm shift in terms of branding. I myself am a brand specialist, and when you mentioned your brand, your person, and then you say, you know, like that makes them want to be part of your community. Speaking of from just purely branding perspective, I think, well, I usually bring up Elon Musk as this like biggest example of a person brand, which has its own, you know, pros and cons. Whatever Elon does, good or bad, will affect all of his other brands. And however, he is this like somewhere in the transition with like even Steve Jobs was not so affiliated with Apple because Apple kind of was, you know, moving on its own in terms of marketing, in terms of, you know, product, in terms of like it was still perceived on its own. It was still somehow distanced from the founder. Same with Microsoft, and with Elon, it's just connected. And I think Elon is this like, and then you know everybody, you know, not everybody, but you know there's people that are protecting him, his every action, and there's people that are criticizing every action. He is definitely a polarizing figure. However, the brand aspect that is extremely apparent is huge. If done right, as you said, they will amplify your voice to insane degrees. Well, did you re-raise your hand, or I just saw it weirdly?
No, I think that's a glitch. I think that's a glitch on the.
I thought you wanted to add anything. Okay, teach you guys how my research is going. I might even go academically into it. Metacraft. Oh, excuse me. Reinvent DAO first, and then we'll move over to Metacraft. Reinvent. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I have to say, I totally agree with on how do we really get into all this, because pertaining back to what the question that you asked, for us, and I have to say as well, for us being in this space in Web3, it's huge. But what I also learned as becoming a founder in the space, because a little bit of background about me, I came from banking background prior to this. And being in a TradFi space, I've seen that's where the future is heading towards, and I understand the potential of blockchain technology about moving towards a decentralized economy, because what this really gives at the end of the day, it's about empowerment, ownership. Really see the empowerment of the right.
Now we can, but I think your internet is lagging a little bit for some reason, or maybe it's my internet. I don't know. I think it's yours though.
Okay, well, I'll try it again here.
Yeah, okay.
What I wanted to say was the connection part with the community is about emotional connection. As a founder as well, I try to actually understand the first 100 customers, what are the problems, the pain points that they have.
Oh man, you're breaking up a lot.
And we try to understand a lot more about what is really must.
Jesus, it's such a good take. I can tell. Reinvent, you're breaking up a lot, unfortunately, but damn, is it a good take? Because you know, understanding the first 100 customers is essential. That's what they teach in every kind of startup that, you know, in every kind of startup course that you go to, or anything that you learn everywhere. Like, what are the main pain points? I still believe Reinvent. I hope you're gonna come back maybe with better internet. I don't know what's wrong with it. Like you start off good and then it just
Still talking when you were talking.
Yeah. Well, I think it was the lag. I think it was the lag. Yeah. But maybe. Oh, Reinvent. Are you back? Now we can't hear you at all. Wow, weird stuff. really weird stuff. But I really enjoyed your take, whatever I could hear. And I also believe that there are many pain points currently existing in the space, even though we are, Trump is bringing a lot of attention to the space, which is great. It's definitely net positive for the space. But we have a ton of pain points, some of which were covered already by Paul and by Brian and other folks. But I'm really curious about how we can, foster this proper mindset that people are looking for, more products and not only conviction plays. It's very difficult, that's for sure. Okay, Metacraft, go ahead.
Hey, thanks, guys. So I was listening to all of you, and I think when it comes to like collaborative ecosystem and community, I think there are different aspects. It could be like some project is too good at technology, but when it comes to like the user base, right? When it comes to the actual consumer of your products, I think one thing which matters is the human interaction. We saw it like last month, just few weeks back. A best example would be Trump, right? When Trump announced his token, we all got so crazy, right? But what happened with the other one, like Melania, right? We didn't got much excited because as a person, very less know about her, as well as very less are actually interested what she is doing or what she has done, right? We don't know much about her, and nor we are actually connected or we feel anything about it. And the same thing happens with the community as well. Product could be anything, but if people do not trust you, no one is going to give even a try to your product, right? And that becomes important for Web3 because we are so early. We need people who can trust us, right? And the first 100, first 500 people of your product are actually people closest to you. They are not someone who have just reached out to you. At first 100 days of any company or any product, your SEO is bad, your UX could be bad, and that's where you need actually people who can trust your product and can start using or web 2 products or web 2 companies. Because there I have worked like years in web 2 space. Most of the mindset about selling the product, selling our service, right? But in Web3, it's more about collaboration where we are engaging with projects. And I think most Web3 projects should focus a lot on the community. We are still very exploratory, products shift, product pivot. We get new narratives every quarter, every month, right? So I think community is one thing a project or a startup founder who is starting, they should stick with.
Yeah, it's interesting how things work, especially when when you mentioned Trump versus Melania. Melania is much lesser of a brand. Plus, she wasn't becoming a president in 2 days when she dropped a coin, or tomorrow. Actually, she dropped a coin less than 48 hours after Trump, which was. I think it's like safe to say that it was a really bad move for Trump himself. I don't know how coordinated that was. Probably it was somewhat coordinated, but she definitely cannibalized a lot of liquidity from Trump. Definitely safe to say that he's the most famous person in the world. So there naturally there would have been insane amount of hype, insane amount of conviction plays, DJs jumping in, pump and dumps, which was natural because she wasn't becoming the president, and also that was I think unanimously perceived as a bad move in terms of the Web3 tactics, let's say. However, when we're speaking about Web3 as a really empowering industry, I have to agree. I've worked in brand marketing for about 10 years. As soon as I jumped into Web3 and I started working full time, I said, I am never going back, because the collaborative aspect and the empowerment of each other in the space is just crazy good. I would never, ever even consider working anywhere else. I hope this space is, here to stay, which I'm glad to see that it's picking up pace and Trump is more and more legitimizing the industry more and more. Not only Trump, but EU as well, with the recent enactment of MiCA, or not enactment, but it went into force in EU as well. So EU is making it sure that investors and communities are safe. The question, though, still prevails. How do we build a cool, really good community that will protect you, amplify your voice, but also not care too much about the price of your token? That is the age-old question. Sponstar, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's funny because we have such an amazing community. I'm just so proud of all our holders. Like a lot of people in this space, right? Like RTG went really well. KOL said this to me. You only hear about the bad market makers. You never hear about the good ones because there's such a obscure figure in this industry. And I think we need to talk about that as well. Wintermute's role in this whole Melania Trump dump situation. It's older holders that want to support the project. But we were very lucky with our community, and we communicated very actively, and we immediately announced measures like staking that will allow kind of like our early holders to double their allocation, so that they're not going to feel the pain of what happened, and we kind of like didn't get any FUD, which meant that we're onto something. We're onto building something with long-term value. We're constantly listening to them. We're constantly showing them new features before we show anyone else. Our Telegram group is, there's a lot of people in there that I have no idea who they are, but they speak for us. They've done their research, they understand the product. And yesterday, someone asked the question in the Telegram group, which was really good. They're like, how do we attract more retail dollars into long-term projects like us that are building with real utility? And my response was, you keep building. You build products that are using abstraction, like zero knowledge proof, so that you're bringing the average person on chain without them even knowing it, and for them to just, have real utility of what's happening in the real world, be it rewards, be it experiences, be it, ease in payments, whatever it is, you're improving a problem that exists in the real world, and you're bringing real people on chain. Then you don't have to worry about the price. You don't have to worry about the money. The price and the money will follow because you're just gonna have real users, right? So we're projecting that by Southwest, we'll have 5 million impressions on our Star Wallet, and we'll have 200,000 new users that are real people that, most of them, this will probably be their first interaction on chain. And they'll do it because they want rewards. They'll do it because they want experience. They'll do it because, they just like to play games. We're gamifying life. So at the end of the day, you're early. I couldn't agree more with whoever was talking about, listening to your first 100 for them. And why is it that they found you? Because if you're an early stage utility product and someone did their research and found you and is in there and is willing to kind of like support you and is willing to evangelize for you, there's something that you're doing that is right. There's something that you're doing that needs to exist in this world, and you should be proud of that. We're so early. Like I was in a dinner party the other day, and people were like, "Oh, I really want some stars. I really want some stars." And I was like literally walking this whole group of people on how to install Coinbase Wallet, how to receive an ERC20 token. Oh, what's the difference between Coinbase Wallet and Coinbase? What's MetaMask, etc. And like a friend of mine was like, "Oh my God, we're so early. I was doing this 10 years ago." And I was like, "Well, we're still so early." So just by being here, just by being in this room, just by building for the people, we've already won. And so, just keep calm, build on, listen more than you talk, and we're all gonna be all right.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that you said, well, it's in a way quantity over quality, that's for sure. And I love that you said how that you explained how you were protecting your community. That they will favor that over people that are wrecking the project essentially, or you can tell that they're not of the greatest intent, let's say. And that's what I love about Web3, that person. But I don't know if we have better business practices, or it's just the technology pushes us. I mean, maybe it's the latter. The technology pushes us to be more individual focused and have less microtransactions, let's say, and have less like these bad practices from the Web 2. I see Hopscotch and Andrew, but real quick. Oh no, we lost reInvent. I really wanted to check if they were okay with the internet, but unfortunately we lost them. I hope they'll come back by the end of the space. Hopscotch, I see your hand. How do we build a community? Go ahead.
How do we build a community? Well, to build good communities, you need to understand good communities, right? And to understand a good community, you got to dive into the trenches of it. You got to get into the weeds of it. You got to spend 24/7 with it, right? You got to do this 10 times and then do it another 10 times. And only then do you begin to see that a thriving community has three things. First one is pumpamentals, right? It's, something specific's got to happen that gets this thing popular, right? And you got to be able to respect it. Number two is a meme economy. We were talking about this earlier with Coneheads, right? Who's your customer? reInvent was talking about this as well. How do I make them laugh, and how do I, support them and help them? And number three is cultonomics. Andrew was talking about this early, kind of Wall on Podchain was talking about as well, and Sponsor just a minute ago. Where the project goes, the cult goes, right? There's trust there. There's like a real relationship that you have to nurture and spend the time with, right? And so then your community can be unstoppable. It turns a community into an economy. And if you're really good, it turns that economy into a movement. And that is just, that's kind of like the pipeline of how to build a really powerful project, at least on crypto, right now.
Oh, geez, I almost stayed muted there. Yes.
Fundamentals, meme economy, and cultonomics.
Cultonomics, damn, the new words that we invent in crypto. I think we have to somehow gamify, as you said, somehow we need to simplify it to an extreme, because even I don't know, there's a new social media platform like Reddit, let's say, and you've never been to Reddit, and it's hard enough to learn stuff there. And right now, financial instruments are really, really crazy in Web3, and it's just overwhelming. It's also overwhelming. That's what I love about Pod, that it tries to be the unified layer, because you need some sort of stability that you can come back to. I'm being extremely frustrated. I'm getting sort of frustrated myself using all of those different apps. Some apps don't work, some freeze, I had an app freeze on me on my USDC on Base, and I couldn't transfer anything, and I was just raging on my phone and stuff like that. Yes, we're still early, but come on, guys, it's about time we do some stuff. But yeah, as it's also the cultonomics is just I've never heard that word before. But there's also this interesting aspect of when you have a stake into the company, you have a different, I don't want to say user experience. It's something much deeper than that. It's a human experience, as Metacraft said. It's a different human experience when you have a stake into a company and you helped it build. It's different frame of mind, and that's the interesting aspect, right? You don't want to take away people's agency from saying, "Oh, this is my company, I'll do whatever I want," because you want them to be engaged, but you don't want them to be too engaged and FUD the project, because there's many, there's the diverse stuff. I am a professional business person. I know how things are done. And sometimes you have to go with your gut, and sometimes you have to go against your community as well. And there are times when you have to decide what is better for the project. I'm sure Luca Nets got a lot of FUD because he was going into a certain direction, but at the end of the day, it paid off because he knows how to do business, how to scale businesses. So that's a very interesting slippery slope there. But I don't want to take too much time from you guys. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I do think this is an important conversation to be strategizing around building community outside of financial incentives. we have to be realistic that once you deploy something that is open and tradable in a free market, be it an ERC20 token, a coin, an NFT, whatever, anything that people can speculate on, people are going to look at that chart and make some snap decisions based on that. So while we can't just force the chart to go up and make people buy stuff, it is important to think about these tokenomics and the kind of the meme culture and prevent not make those very obvious mistakes of, for example, doing a very wide airdrop to accounts that are notorious for selling immediately, right? You're going to see your chart have just a big red line down right after you send that airdrop, right? It doesn't always have to be fair either. There was a moment at Axie Infinity where 4chan created this really strange conspiracy theory about how SLP was going to do all of this advanced utility in the Axie ecosystem. It was a complete troll. It was completely made up. The price spiked up based on that and then came crashing back down once people found out that it was fake. Years later, people would still look at that and go, SLP's down 90%. There was that old chart on Binance where it showed SLP at 30 cents. That number was manufactured because there was some issue where the bridges were down and there was some supply thing. And for like a week, users couldn't sell or something because of some technical error. So the price could only go up because there was no way for the price to go down. Weird things like that can happen. And there isn't an asterisk on the chart that says, hey, there was a technical issue. This wasn't a real pump. This was, created by another reason. It's just really important to be mindful of like your chart is part of your product and it is part of your marketing, whether you want it to be or not. And if you have that, hey, we're down 99% all time, outsiders will absolutely look at that and see it as a red flag, even if you are a victim of circumstance. So I think it's equally important to talk about all this community building stuff, but for all founders, I would say keep in the back of your mind that people will be very judgmental, very harsh, and form very extreme opinions based on how extreme those candles are and which direction that chart is going. So I often advise people try to start small and give yourself plenty of room to go up rather than trying to drop at the biggest FDV possible. And then there's kind of nowhere to go but down, or, you don't want to have to take a down round in the future. You want to set yourself up for up rounds as you scale. So just some food for thought, but definitely think of those charts as like a key piece of your marketing dialogue. And that in turn will be your cycle for getting new community members.
Yeah, that's a really, really nice thought. It's very interesting how, it's fascinating how builders, especially when we're talking about something as innovative as Web3, where there haven't been many practices as early 2022, 2023, you saw a lot of people jump in. Even today, the rugs are a result of people not only the malicious intent, but also people that are not professional enough, underhype. You can do a lot of stuff where we don't know how to conduct business essentially. And building a traditional business is hard enough, and especially when we're talking about a business in a field that is such crazy stuff. So really, really nice advice from you, Andrew. Unfortunately, we are nearing the end of this really fascinating and engaging conversation. I want to throw it back over to Brian, because I want to hear his beautiful voice and his sophisticated take. Brian, anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
No, just excellent conversation today. So the first thing or only thing I really want to say, guys, is make sure that you're practicing wallet security right now and all those things that we talk about, because with this liquidity grab going on right now, the bull market coming, the scams are coming out in force, guys, and you never think it can happen to you until it does. So practice those things like air gaps, cold storage. Don't click on links. Like what I like to do, I like to keep my social media accounts separate from accounts where I hold wallets or I have cryptocurrency, things like that. Just do what you need to do. Be safe. Be wary of DMs, guys. If you get a DM from a random person, 99% of the time, it's a scam. So always treat it as such until they prove otherwise. Other than that, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Thank you to all the projects for coming today, all the listeners. Shout out to you. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, keep building, hold the line, support these projects if you're in their community, and believe in something.
Definitely. Beautifully, beautifully said. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. This has been a